I have had my new 8-week-old puppy, Reggie, for exactly 7 days. We are at the end of the 7th day, and I want to recap exactly what we've achieved in the first week together to give you a realistic expectation of what you should be able to achieve in the first week with your puppy as well. Now, whenever I train a new puppy and whenever I train the thousands of clients that I've helped to train their new puppies, we break the training process down into 3 pillars of success: manners, socialization, and obedience. So I think the best way to approach this video to give you an update of exactly what me and young Reginald here have achieved in the first week is to break it down into each of those categories. So we're going to start off with the first category being manners. Now, it does not matter how many tricks your dog knows, what obedience it has. If they are a bad-mannered, obnoxious dog, they are a misery to be around. And by manners, I mean a dog that is calm, well-behaved, well-mannered, will look up to you for guidance and direction, isn't obnoxious, isn't barking all the time, isn't jumping up everybody it meets, has good threshold manners, has good toilet training. And we have made huge progress in week 1 with that. The first and foremost piece of what I fit into the manners category, which can kind of spread across multiple categories, is crate training. We got his crate training done on day 1. He was able on day 1 to be able to spend an hour to 2 hours at a time, complete peace and quiet, snoozing away in his crate. He has not fallen asleep anywhere other than his crate in the entirety of the first week. So he has already learned that his crate is where he settles down, is where he relaxes, and is where he goes to sleep. We've then been able to use that, and we've been able to get through the nights really successfully. The last 2 nights, he has slept through for 7 to 8 hours, both nights, all the way through with no issues whatsoever. The first few nights, he would sleep for about 3 or 4 hours. He'd start to cry and bark a little bit. We were able to interrupt that, get quiet, give that a minute or 2, and then we would let him out and take him to the toilet just to make sure that that's not what he was crying for. But like I say, the last couple of nights we've been able to get over 7 hours of sleep for me and my entire family, and he's been able to settle down, are you comfortable there, mister, for over 7 hours and go through the night. So huge progress with crate training and huge progress on getting through the night. I am not exaggerating, and I swear on my life and my family's life, we have had 0 toilet accidents in the house. Absolutely 0. And that comes down to incredible management. And anytime he's been out the crate, he has had structured free time, which we're going to come on to in a minute. But his time in the crate helps with toilet training because dogs are denning animals and he doesn't want to soil inside his crate. We've been on it with his toilet training on the hour, every hour after he's had something to eat and when he wakes up from a sleep. And that has set us up for huge amounts of success and 0 toilet accidents. He has also started working on his place training, as you can see, and we're up to being able to get him to do 1 hour to 2 hours on his place bed when he is awake, but we don't want to be outside. And this is what I call my supervised, structured free time in the home, where you can be out with us in the living room environment while we're watching TV or hanging out as a family, but you don't get off the place bed. You can have stuff to chew, which he's got his yak stick right now, and this is how you learn to kind of settle and be with us in the home, but do it so in a structured way, which means he's not destroying anything, we're having no toilet accidents, and he's learning how to just be a member of our family and be calm and well-mannered. Puppy biting is all but gone. The first couple of days were very steady. He was a bit nervous the first couple of days. We didn't really see too much of him. He was just very kind of, I'm just going to sit back and figure this out. The last few days he's really come out his shell. His confidence has come out and a little bit of puppy biting came with it, but we nipped that in the bud really quickly. I practiced what I preach in my Perfect Puppy course and we were able to get puppy biting pretty much nipped in the bud, no pun intended. We will probably have a few little bouts of it coming back and we'll just continue to use our interruptions that are now really well conditioned with him and he understands what they mean, so we can, again, no pun intended, nip it in the bud really quickly, no issues. And again, I can come down, give him belly scratches, I could tickle him under his chin, and we've got no issues here. Play with his paws under his belly of him wanting to kind of bite me. So again, really, really positive. Now, I think that pretty much covers all of the manners piece of the puzzle. Let's move on to socialization. Now, socialization, again, has been wonderful. I do socialize my dogs from day 1. We don't wait for all of the vaccinations to be done. He's already had 2 of his 3 vaccinations with the breeder, and he's got his 3rd one booked in for next week. However, we've been getting after it. It has helped that we've been doing a full renovation here at my house, and through that wall is our kitchen, which has been completely ripped out, smashed to pieces, and been rebuilt in the last week, and they're nearly there. The noises and the sights and the people coming and going and the tradespeople coming and going has just provided tons of opportunity for socialisation, which has been wonderful. We've also had in by traffic loads. We do live on a fairly busy street, so we can just kind of go out and watch the traffic periodically. Absolutely perfect. We've also have taken him to the gym twice this week where he's come. We've taken a place bed and he is placed for 90 minutes in the gym. And it's been a strongman gym that we've gone to, so there's been Atlas stones flying, there's been log presses going, big deadlifts, people dropping massive weights. And again, he's just been hanging out, chilling, taking it all in, learning to be an amazing dog that's not really phased no matter what's going on in life. All of that achieved in week 1. We also took him to what we call a maker's market here, which is kind of like a farmer's market, and he saw literally hundreds, if not probably low thousands of people yesterday, selling all different types of stuff with all different types of smells. That went brilliantly. We then took him to a friend's coffee shop and we hung out in a coffee shop for 15 minutes. Then today, he's been over to work with me. He's been to my paddock multiple times this week. That's all gone brilliantly. He's met my other dogs. That's all gone absolutely beautifully. And then tonight, me and my wife, we went to the pub and we took him with us to the pub. He's just spent the last 90 minutes, took a little bit of his vet bedding to provide a little bit of a place. And he's been relaxed on his vet bedding in a busy pub, watching waitresses and waiters running, coming and going, noises from the kitchen. It's a nice open kitchen pub, bar stuff going on, people laughing and drinking and having a great time. And again, my mate Reggie here has just been an absolute legend, taking it all in. So socialisation for week 1 has been superb. We're just going to keep that going now and try and find as many different unique opportunities to be able to socialise him, so that he remains this calm, consistent, perfect canine companion. Then it goes on to obedience. Now, of the 3 areas, obedience was the one that, especially early on in the week, I thought was going to be slower than the other 2. First couple of days, wasn't interested in food whatsoever. Very common when you bring a puppy home that they can go off their food a little bit. It's quite a stressful experience coming away from mum and the litter mates to a new environment, new people. And it's not uncommon for them to go off their food. So for the first couple of days, we didn't get tons of work done. But as his confidence has come up, his appetite's come up and his food drives come up. So the last few days in particular, we've really been able to kind of get stuck into his obedience. Now for me, I personally believe people rush obedience way too much and they move on to new things way too quickly before they've proofed and generalized the behavior that they're trying to teach. So with Reggie, I'm breaking it down into smaller chunks and we're taking our time. The main focus was on conditioning his marker. I've actually been using a clicker. In the past, I've used a verbal marker of yes for my kind of terminal marker if you guys want to kind of get really fancy on it, but this time I've transitioned over to a clicker. It's a really cool clicker. It's the clickers that were used in World War II on D-Day, the same factory using the same tools and the same presses, still make those exact same clickers. That single story kind of got me hooked and went, you know what, I'm going to move over and give clickers another try. And this week I've fallen head over heels with clicker training. I'm good with verbal markers, but I feel like a behavior sniper when it comes to using a clicker. I can be so millisecond precise with them that I'm really enjoying clicker training with Reggie. So that's gone really well. We conditioned the clicker. Then we did loads of work on his engagement, which is teaching him his name, and that his name actually means look up to me for guidance and direction because I'm about to ask you to do something else, so I need you to focus on me now. Then we moved on to teaching him sit. That went really well. He's a German Shepherd. He's very clever. He picked it up really quickly, but we did have a bit of a problem if he's a very pawry puppy. He likes to use his paws. So for the last couple of days, again, rather than rushing on, we've been really taking our time and trying to bring out that pawing behavior purely positively, just using kind of basic patient principles of marking the sit behavior as soon as the sit happens, but not getting access to the reward until all 4 are on the floor. It took a couple of sessions for him to really start to grasp it. We did have a little bit of frustration of him trying to work out what was what, but you saw the moment that the penny dropped when he realized, oh, he gives me the reward when my feet are on the floor. And that's about 90% gone now. When he's very excited or when we first start a session, we might get a little bit of pawing. And then as soon as he doesn't get the treat and he goes, oh yeah, I remember, and he catches himself. So I'm very confident that that's going to phase away. And that takes us to the end of the obedience. And that is Reggie's first week here with me, and it's gone beautifully successfully. I'm incredibly happy, chuffed to bits with the progress that we've made. My whole family have been super consistent, even my young kids who are 8 and 5 have been really trying to focus and pay attention and get involved with the training and not make the mistakes that a lot of kids make, and I've explained to them why we're doing things. So that's all been great, and he's dropped into the family lovely. Maybe I'll touch on a bit more around the other dogs and introducing him to the other dogs, because I maybe take that for granted of how well that went. But that was perfect. I now have my English Mastiff Eileen passed away earlier in the year, so we have got 2 dogs. Sully, my working line Labrador, who is kind of my role model dog in my work as a behaviourist, but he is right on the cusp of being retired from that now, because he's getting on. He's a senior dog, and a lot of his kind of characters, we won't go into detail, that's another video, but he's going to be ready for retirement, and that's one of the potential routes for Reggie, is that he might replace Uncle Sully as my next role model dog. But I introduced them first just because Uncle Sully is Uncle Sully for a reason. The energy, he was so perfect, and I wasn't surprised that went beautifully. We did that on the first day. We held off introducing Puppy until the second day, just because Puppy is a game-bred, pretty hardcore guarding breed who is hyper-skeptical of anything new coming into her environment. I knew it'd be fine. I know I've got complete control over Puppy, but just that energy that she brings into any equation is just a lot, and I wanted to kind of not overwhelm him in that first day. So I used Uncle Sully's energy in day 1, then we brought Puppy's energy in day 2, and that went beautifully. It went exactly as I imagined. Puppy was quite stiff, and she postured, and she kind of worked him out. Realised he was no threat whatsoever. He was beautiful. He behaved perfectly as a kind of a well-rounded, well-bred dog should. Testament to his breeder and the kind of work that he'd done, and how Mum was with them, and how she's been able, all of that beautiful, really cool, early kind of developmental stuff shone through. Puppy took to him straight away, and they've become really quite nice mates actually this week. That's been lovely to see, and I expected that because I chose Reggie for the energy that he has, and we were very kind of specific of why we chose him, and he clearly has a real desire to follow strong leadership, which works really nicely for me. But when he encounters other dogs that display strong leadership like Puppy does, he's kind of dropped in with her really nicely. He plods along behind her. When she stops, he stops. When she goes, he goes. Really nice little flourishing relationship there. So I think they're going to be a lovely little 3-dog dynamic. I am expecting, just kind of to give you a glimpse into the future, pet dynamics, I know a lot of people worry about it if you haven't got much experience with it. When he kind of goes through puberty, all that testosterone kicks in, that him and Puppy will kind of have to work that out. And obviously as the leader of our pack, I'm going to help make sure that that's worked out safely and effectively. But that might be a little roadblock in their relationship that has to be addressed at some point, but I will help address them, and I'll happily share how I do that when I do that. But I think it will go very well. And I think my mate Reggie here will be an absolute superstar. Isn't that right, bud? You are a good lad. And as you can see, this whole time here, he's just been chilling on his place bed, chewing his stick like a good boy. And there's not many adult dogs that can have this level of kind of self-control and impulse control and be able to play stay this for amount of time. So chuffed to bits. That's kind of week 1 done. If you liked this video, I'm happy to kind of keep these weekly updates coming, hopefully drop all the value nuggets that I'm kind of doing along the way, so that you guys can follow along with Reggie's journey as well. Every single thing that we're doing with Reggie is being filmed at length and being uploaded to my Perfect Puppy course. So if you want to see all the kind of full-length training that we're doing, you've probably been seeing clips of it on this. We are vlogging every day, so really long behind-the-scenes, raw, authentic vlogs. All of that's going over on the Perfect Puppy course. So if you're interested, there'll be a link to that in the description box below. You can go and check that out now. But if not, I'll see you next week for the next update of young Reginald's training. Have you dropped your stick, mate? There you go. Oh, you're so gentle. You're so gentle. What, do you want to give kisses instead? What if I pop it there? Good boy. Lovely. Perfect. We'll see you next week.